What if Leonardo da Vinci lived in the 21st century? What if the greatest mind of the Renaissance had been born in the age of artificial intelligence? What if Leonardo da Vinci opened his eyes for the first time not in 1452, but in a world of supercomputers, rockets, biotech labs, and infinite streams of data? Would he design skyscrapers, or would he redesign humanity itself? Imagine a world where genius meets exponential technology, where curiosity collides with unlimited tools, a world where nothing feels impossible, not because it's easy, but because imagination finally has the instruments to express itself. Leonardo da Vinci was born in 1452. Painter, engineer, anatomist, inventor, a mind that refused to fit inside a single definition. He designed flying machines centuries before airplanes existed. He studied the human body with a precision no one had seen before. He imagined war machines, hydraulic systems, ideal cities. He painted the Mona Lisa. He created the Last Supper. But here's the most fascinating part. Most of his inventions were never built, not because they were wrong, because the technology of his time didn't exist. Leonardo wasn't limited by imagination. He was limited by his century. And that changes everything. Because Leonardo wasn't just an artist, he was obsessed with how things worked. He dissected bodies to understand muscle. He studied birds to understand flight. He filled thousands of pages with sketches, not for fame, not for applause, but for understanding. He didn't separate art from science. For him, everything was connected. Anatomy informed painting. Engineering informed sculpture. Nature informed everything. Now imagine that mind with access to artificial intelligence, quantum computing, space travel, genetic engineering, neural interfaces. Not as fantasy, as tools. Picture this. Leonardo is born in 1990. He grows up coding before he can legally drive. At 15, he's building drones inspired by dragonflies. At 20, he's studying biomechanics and AI at the same time, not because someone told him to specialize, but because specialization feels too small. He doesn't just join a company, he creates something new. In space exploration, would he collaborate with NASA or launch visionary missions with SpaceX? Imagine spacecraft designed like living organisms, curved, adaptive, inspired by bone structures and bird wings. No cold metal cylinders, no harsh geometry. Organic technology, engineering that feels alive. Leonardo once imagined ideal cities during plague outbreaks, cities with better airflow, sanitation, harmony between structure and health. Now imagine him redesigning entire megacities, buildings that breathe, walls that purify the air, bridges inspired by human tendons, smart cities that aren't just efficient, but beautiful, where engineering doesn't feel mechanical, it feels biological, intentional, elegant. And then there's art. Would he fear AI-generated images, or would he master them? Imagine Leonardo training neural networks not to replicate art, but to explore consciousness. Digital portraits that subtly change expression. Interactive frescoes that react to the presence of the viewer. Virtual reality cathedrals where light bends according to emotional data. He wouldn't see AI as competition, he would see it as a brush. Leonardo believed nature followed patterns, spirals, proportions, sacred geometry. With modern simulation tools, would he decode deeper laws of the universe? Would he design sustainable energy systems inspired by ecosystems? Would he merge biology and architecture so seamlessly that cities grow like forests? He wouldn't specialize, he would synthesize. And maybe that's the real point. Maybe the real question isn't, what would Leonardo da Vinci build in the 21st century? Maybe it's this: are we living in a world that truly supports minds like his? Or are we still trapped inside invisible limits of imagination? Leonardo lived 500 years ago. He dreamed of flying machines before airplanes. He imagined future cities before modern engineering. He saw connections where others saw separation. And maybe the 21st century isn't really about technology. Maybe it's about whether we dare to think like him. Because the world doesn't change when tools evolve. It changes when imagination does. So if this idea inspired you, imagine what other worlds we can redesign together. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, share it with someone who loves history, art, or the future. Because here, we don't just explore the world, we redesign it. Redesigned World, where imagination redraws reality.